1 year ago, I posted a video of me putting in my 2 weeks notice to my corporate job. It was one of the most exciting things I've ever done, but also the most risky decision I've ever made for my life. As an extremely risk-averse person, I sat in an odd spot that has continued for 365 days, where I felt hope creep back into my life from a forgotten place, and fear randomly and momentarily take its place over and over again. Since last May, I have experienced the highest of career highs, the lowest of self-doubts, and the recurring moments of how am I still doing this? But these are the top 3 things I've learned being a full-time content creator this last year. Number 1, if you are working in a creative role, you will need to learn to advocate for your pay. Even in a social media-driven world, there still seems to be this pressure to prove that you are worth the work that you do. I know people in branding, podcasting, content creation, and photography who are struggling to make ends meet because people think that they should work for free or give them a friends and family discount. If someone is doing a creative service for you, it is just like any other job. They deserve to be compensated for their research, their expertise, and their time. May 12th marks a decade for me of creating content, and my biggest regret is not asking brands to pay me for my work sooner. On the flip side, point number 2 is that I wish I had taken the brand's needs into consideration sooner. In pursuit of getting regular partnerships and pay this year in order to support myself, I also became self-focused at times in the process of creating an agreement together. The brand that's paying you also deserves to have their needs met and their goals accomplished. You're not only taking their pay, you're representing their name, which is an honor. When you approach a brand to work together, make sure you would actually be a good fit. Do your brand missions align? Are your target markets predominantly the same? Are you both getting a benefit out of this partnership? Take time with your pitches and be mindful that you are talking to another person on the other end of that email or direct message. The final point is that it is not scary to pursue your dreams. It's scary to not fulfill other people's dreams, and it's even more terrifying to live with what ifs. The concept of having a dream and taking action to pursue that dream is not the part of the role that is concerning. It's the way other people perceive you and the success or failure that can result from putting yourself out there. This past year, I've gone months without income of any kind, quite literally living off of rice and beans for weeks. In those learning curves, it's been difficult to catch up with old friends or update family on what I've been doing, because how in the world do you tell people I pursued my dream and no one cares about it enough to financially back me? It was rough in the moment, but I think true success comes from persevering in times of difficulty. And I think it will bode well for me in my future endeavors that I no longer grapple with greed or pride in my relationships. Now that I'm starting to gain stable footing a year later, I can tell you that the scariest thing you can do in your life is push yourself into complacency for other people to be proud of you. Don't be foolish with your time on this earth or put other people's needs below your own, but you are not created to be a reflection on your parents of how other people should perceive them, or the door for your friends to get opportunities, or the coolest person in the room. Your purpose is the dream you are following, and it may transition a few times over the course of your life, but you have to ask yourself, is it worse to pursue a dream and have it look different than you originally thought, or is it worse to have never pursued that dream in the first place because of fear? With 1 year down, I want to thank those of you who have followed my journey this past year and the many years leading up to this moment. The past 365 days have been full of imposter syndrome and instability, but I also lived in a foreign country solo for 3 weeks. I was a guest multiple times on podcasts. I went to a freaking Shrek rave. I worked with Dolly Parton and her team. I documented one of my friends finishing a half marathon. I covered multiple Minnesota Fashion Week events. And ultimately, I stepped out in faith that God would not only provide for me, but that this is what I was made to do, so I could be confident that no matter what happened, I would be okay, and I could encourage others to pursue their dreams as well.